weights that you can lift up, resistance bands, and a blanket that you could roll up?
Yep.
Okay, awesome, cool. So you've got plenty over here too. Mostly all the things we're going to be doing, you guys already know. It's going to be cat-cows, a bunch of different kinds. Sun salutations, we're going to do them several variations. And then a warrior flow, which we'll do with weights, resistance bands, blocks, and just no props at all, just free. And the idea is, as you get more comfortable with this movement that you already know, you feel a little bit stronger there, you can kind of explore, and it's going to feel different, especially with the weights and the resistance bands. So even though it's something you know and you've done a lot of times before, hopefully it still challenges you and engages some new muscles. So we're going to start just in tabletop, and you can just begin with your typical cat-cow, where you use the whole spine. You try to look up high as you can, and then look in towards your belly button. And trying to flex and round the spine as much as you can. Just warming up the back. And then we're going to bring our spine back to neutral, and we're going to try and isolate each part of the cat-cow depending on the area of our spine. So we're going to start with the cervical spine by our neck, and we're just going to cat-cow this neck area. And so it's a very microscopic movement. We're just thinking about the cervical spine here, really just the neck, the very top of the shoulders. And so if you feel your rib cage and stuff lifting, your hips moving, try to just isolate the cervical spine and bring stillness and engagement to the rest of the body. Okay, we're going to move that down towards the thoracic spine, our middle, our chest, our shoulders. And think about your hips. Are they moving a lot? So if you can keep the hips still and really just isolate it in the middle part of your body, middle part of the back. Okay, and then we're just going to go towards the lumbar spine. So this is just the hips. Bringing the hips in and then sending them out. And then if you feel your chest and rib cage moving a lot, your neck, try to bring stillness and engagement there as you just move the hips. Okay, and then we're going to do circles with the ribs. So now we're moving all parts of the spine from our neck all the way down to the tailbone and the sacrum and the hips. You can switch directions as much as you like. Trying to go the full range of motion, really pressing up high as you can, sending the ribs out far as you can to the side, dropping to the bottom far as you can. Exaggerating the movement. Couple more, deepening the breath. All right, and then we're gonna step out with the right leg. You're gonna flare the right toes as much as you can, so you're really opening the right knee. And we're gonna cat-cow here. Feeling it in the hips, and the low back, and the shoulders. Couple more. And then we're going to step the right foot up towards the hand. And same thing, cat, cow here, just a couple times. Using the breath. Feeling the spine round up as much as you can, and then the spine flexes, a little bit of a back bend. Sending that right leg back. We're going to get the left leg out when you're ready. Flaring the toes out, flaring the knee out, cat-cow. Try to deepen the breath here. And then we're going to move up towards our hands, stepping the foot on the outside of the hand. And cat-cow, the spine. Check the music. Stop. And just a couple more. Okay, and then sending that leg back to tabletop. We're gonna drop the elbows down to dolphin. And so you can lift the hips high as you can, send the hips out as well. And then we're gonna cat-cow from here. So going from flexion in the spine to rounding the spine. Really involve the use of your neck. I'm looking at the belly button up towards the ceiling. Very nice. We're going to go back up to tabletop when you're ready. And we're going to get into our first down dog. So it can be knees bent. You're really just melting the chest towards the thighs, sending the hips up towards the ceiling. And then the last thing would be straightening the legs, looking up towards the belly button as you press in towards the legs. Then we're going to practice rounding our spine as we come into plank. And then pressing back to down dog where it's flexion in the spine. Where it's opposite of being rounded, looks like a crescent, a little bit of a back bend felt here in the down dog. So again, oppositely rounding the spine, moving into plank, and then pressing back, flexing the spine. Let's do 2 more rounds of each. Coming up to plank, sending it back, rolling up to plank, pressing back the down dog. You're going to walk the hands back. Bend the knees generously, grab opposite elbows. Let the head hang heavy, sway left and right, opening up space in the low back. So we're going to gently roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. The last thing to come up is the head. From here, we're going to open palms wide, fingers wide. Same thing with the toes. Try to ground down through the feet, spread the toes wide. And we're going to bring the arms up, hands touch. And as our hands are in prayer, we're going to look at our thumbs. Just go into a gentle back bend here, and our eyes follow the gaze of our thumb. So just taking us back just a little bit, and then back up to the center where we're going to lift up towards the ceiling, and then dive, opening the arms, leading down with the chest, forward fold here. Halfway lift, lengthening the spine. Back to a forward fold. Hands come up behind you and that pulls you all the way up. Hands at the top. Again, same thing when our hands come together. We look at our thumbs. Thumbs lead us back for a little bit of a back bend here. Maybe this one's a little bit deeper than the last. Coming back up to center. We're lifting up towards the ceiling. We can feel the ribcage lift. And then we're bending at the hips, dropping with a heavy chest, diving down to forward fold, lifting the hips high. Halfway lift. And forward fold. Hands come behind you, pulling you up. Last one, getting a good deep back bend here. And deeper than the last two if you can. Back up to the ceiling, lifting up, pulling the rib cage up, spreading the hands, diving down, bending at the hip crease. To a deep forward fold here. The hips are naturally high up. You can fold in a bit deeper here. Halfway lift. Lengthening everything out and back to a forward fold. Hands come up behind you, pulling you up. Hands come down. The center. We'll take a deep breath here, filling the lungs. Slow exhale out. Hands come apart. Back up. And instead of going into a back bend, we're just going to let the hands come apart. We're going to dive down to a forward fold. Halfway lift. And setting the hands down. Just going to take one giant step back, another giant step back to plank. You're going to slowly chaturanga down all the way. Belly can touch the ground, chest can touch the ground. And then you're going to swim up, trying to get that heart through the shoulder space. Rolling the shoulders back. Looking up, the knees are down, sending the hips back, active toes. We're going to press into downward facing dog. Walk the feet up. You can do little steps or you can just take one or two giant steps as you can. Halfway lift, forward fold. Hands come up, pulling you up. And all the way down. By your side, we're going to lift back up. And then this time we're going to drop down into chair. So see if you can really keep your gaze up at your fingers. So you slowly bend the knees, drop down, send the knees back. See if you can sit a little bit deeper here. And take a deep breath. And we're going to forward fold, just melting down. Halfway lift here. Setting the hands on the ground. We're going to jump back if you'd like. Just try it out. Chaturanga. And this time we're not going to set the stomach down. We're going to keep it lifted as we come up. Upward facing dog. Hips are lifted. Knees are off the ground this time. Back to down dog. You're going to lift the right leg up this time. Bend it. Bring it through, stepping to the hands. And then the back leg is at a 45-degree angle, and we're just going to balance our way up to warrior one. See if you can bend a little bit more in the front knee. See if you can lift the arms up, keep the hips square, and then melt down. Coming back to plank and then down dog. We're gonna lift the left leg high, step through. Back leg comes to a 45-degree angle, that heel is down, and we're balancing our way up. See if you can press a little bit deeper. Lift high up here, and melt down. Stepping back, down dog. You can deeply bend the knees here. Jump up to your hands. Lift the hips high for a forward fold. And then we're just going to gently come up to chair. And sit a little bit deeper, send the knees back. And take a big breath here. See if you can lift the heart, lift the head up towards the ceiling. And then come up. Hands at heart center. Taking a big breath in. Big exhale out. Gonna open the hands again. Go up. And drop into chair one more time. Can you sit even deeper? Really try to challenge your quads. We're not going to be here long, so try to challenge yourself, sitting even more. Melting all the way down. Forward fold. Halfway lift. And we're going to set the hands down, jump back, down dog. Right leg lifts up, bending the knee, stepping through to the hands. The back knee is going to set all the way down to the ground. The back toes are flat, and we're going to have our hips square as our hands come up. See if you can drop into this hip. Get a little bit deeper, maybe even inching the toes forward, lengthening the back leg out behind you. And we're going to follow the gaze of our thumb, reaching back. A little bit of a back bend here, gently coming out of it. Coming back towards the front and just transitioning from down dog, left leg up, stepping it through to the front, back knee down, back toes down, squaring the hips. Coming up, crescent pose, really reaching back, opening up the chest, and gently melting forward, coming back into down dog, bending the knees, pressing back, the hips are back, heels are lifted. We're going to look at our hands, jump up, come into a forward fold, and gently come into chair pose again. Really sit deep here. Taking a deep breath. And coming up to standing. Hands at heart center. Filling up the lungs. Deep breath in. Big exhale out. Oh, very nice. Okay, so now we are gonna pick out a weight. It's up to you. I think Justin can probably do this 20-pound, and I'm gonna do the 10-pound. What do you have available, Robert?
I just grabbed 2 10s. Your thing said 5 to 10 pounds, so I just grabbed my 10s.
Awesome. And is it a kettlebell or a dumbbell?
Dumbbell. I don't have any kettlebells.
Okay, that's fine. So, let's see. How does it feel for you? Can you just show me real quick? Can you go into like a warrior pose? And just let me know if it's stable for you, if it causes pain. If you can just pick them up like this and see if it's awful. Yeah, do you have one or two with you?
I have two.
You have two. See if two is okay. If two is too much, try with one and we'll treat it like a kettlebell. Okay. So if that does not suck, how is it?
It's a little challenging, but I can do it. How long are we gonna be holding it for?
Let's do one. Let's just do one to start with, I think, because yeah, we're gonna be doing a couple things with it. So let's start with one, yeah, and then we can all do the same movement. It'll be great. So we're gonna start with our feet together, and you guys know the warrior flow. We're just doing it with the weight. So we're gonna have the main weight. Probably get just the other one in your right hand. And we're gonna balance through the left. So we're just trying to work on this as we float back. It's okay if you drop the foot, you can try to get into this floating warrior 3 for a moment. Floating back into warrior 1, where we can lift the arm up. So 1 doesn't have a weight and your right hand does have a weight. Just making sure that you're stable here, checking that you can bring the right hip forward, squaring the hips, that it feels okay on your wrists. We're gonna open up to 2, and as we open up to 2, the arm is bent because it's a little bit too much to extend it. So if you can keep the right arm bent, see if you can flare the left knee open, open the heart space, rolling the shoulders back. We're going to take a deep breath here. And on the exhale, we're just going to go into a side angle. So see if you can rest on the side, then push the right arm up. Taking a breath here, just kind of settling into it with the weight. And then we're going to gently come up and just letting this right arm gently come down side of the body. And we're going to bend in the left knee and then just reach back. So it's like a reverse warrior and you're letting the weight pull you down a little bit. So you can open up this whole left side of the body. Very nice. We're going to send the hips back. And your hand can come down to your shin. You can grab a block if you need. And we're going to work on our triangle pose where hips are back, legs are straight, and you're pushing up the weight towards the ceiling, looking up towards the weight, and everything is in alignment with each other, stacked nicely. You can slow down and take a deep breath here. And gently lifting up. We're going to come back to the center. And then you can get the left. So when your weight is in the center down here, we're going to cling it up with the left hand. So if you need to try that again with the dumbbell, I know it might feel a little bit different. That's okay. We're just clinging it up. And then now we're grounding down through the right leg. Left is light. And it's going to be extra tricky with the weight, so that's okay. We're just trying to float up in 3 to land in 1. Pushing up the weight as much as you can. Flaring that knee open. And back foot is at 45-degree angle. And you can still breathe here, filling up the lungs. We're going to open up to 2. So again, the left arm is going to be bent. And we're really opening up the chest here. And smoothly transitioning to side angle. And back up to center. We're going to let this weight come down as we go into reverse warrior. So take your time, especially with the weights. Let the weight pull you down, and then you can reach back. We're going to transition then into Tripanasana triangle pose. So you can use a block from the inside of the foot. Just work on pushing up, straightening the legs, making sure everything's sat nice and tall, straight. That you can still breathe here. And gently we're going to lift up and set the weight down. So you should be in a wide leg stance here with the block nearby. And we're just going to try it again. So the right hand is going to cling, grounding into the left leg. You guys know the sequence. Going from warrior 3 to 1. We're going to do it a little bit quicker this time. Opening up to 2, the right arm is bent. Side angle. And coming up, center, down, reverse warrior. See if you can bend in the front knee and then reach back. And coming back center, you can use your block. Tripanasana. We're gonna use that clinging motion to push the weight up. Send the legs straight out, sending the hips back, looking up. Gently coming up, back into center, to a wide leg stance. You're gonna cling up. This is the last one. Clinging up. We're gonna lean to the left leg. Warrior 3 to 1. Everything square to the front. Opening up to 2. Sorry, I've got my weight in the wrong hand. To 2. And then side angle here. And coming up, reverse. And Tripanasana. Gently coming back to center. Can set the weight down. And we're just gonna make our way all the way to the ground when you're ready. And if you've got your rolled up blanket, here you go. We're gonna get it ready. So we're just gonna roll it up. And then we're gonna place it underneath the ribs, right underneath your sternum. It's kind of right where the ribs begin to separate. That's where you can place the bolster. And so you're just getting a little bit of an elevated chest here, elevated ribs. And we're pulling the elbows into the body. So that's going to create a little bit of tension here. Can swim the heart forward. Feel free to close the eyes. And take a breath here. And then just very slowly, we're going to Lift the hips up, press into the hands, send the bolster back towards our knees where it's touching our knees, and we can roll our knees on top of the bolster and lift the feet up, pointing the toes towards your head, dropping the belly down. Same thing with the elbows. We're grounding down through the elbows and sliding our elbows in towards our body. It's going to curl the chest open, rolling the shoulders back. Feel free to close the eyes and take a moment here to feel the low back. It's strengthening, a lot of tension here. It's also opening up the front body, the ribs, and chest. Feeling a little bit of upper body strength in our arms. And then we're just gently going to roll off of this into child's pose. And so you're welcome to use the blanket underneath your forehead. Feel free to rest your head down, and you can even walk the hands back to touch your feet. And then letting the shoulder blades just kind of blanket over, draping over the knees. Slowing down the breath. I'm just going to take a couple minutes here, so just releasing any areas of tension and just smoothing that out. And letting your body relax down with gravity, softening the breath, softening the mind. And when you're ready, you can just gently begin to roll up to Seiza, seated position. And gently opening the eyes, bringing your attention back. And before moving or closing out, just taking a moment here to just see how you feel. See how your body is, your mind. Feel the breath and check in. I hope you guys feel good. Thank you so much for moving and taking the class. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you as always.
Yeah.
How things been there for you guys with all this craptastic weather? You guys been pretty good?
Yeah, the thing is, like, growing up in Wyoming, people in Montana here, staying in Colorado, like, you notice, like, just like the building codes, everything's entirely to different standards. And so